Assalamu alaikum. Bismillah wa salatu wa salam Rasulullah. About the name of Allah, the peace and blessings of Allah be upon his last and final messenger, family, friends, foes, haters, and hatettes. Welcome back to the features. I greet you all in peace and love and no hatred in my heart. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And before we begin, please like, please subscribe, and please share. As you know, we got a hella haters up in here, family. And before we begin, just put number ones in the chat if y'all can hear me. Number one in the chat, can you hear me? Holla if you hear me. Holla, holla, holla. Now look at here, family. I was trying to set up this live, and I had some problems actually setting it up because of its political nature. And some of y'all, my day ones know anyways, like when we get into, like if we mention certain names like on the lies and stuff, like if we mention any of the Canadian politicians, particularly Justin Trudeau, if we mention Palestine, if we mention Palestine protests, all this kind of stuff, like all these type of things, right? YouTube especially, they will shut us down very quick, right? So this happened while I was live. Y'all know anyways, right? So I was setting up this live, and I was trying to set it up essentially based on Donald Trump's policies. And we've done a bunch of videos here on Donald Trump, and we haven't been stopped before. But when I was setting this up, it seemed like I was being stopped from doing this live. So we got to be very, very, very careful, very cautious when we're doing this live. We have to be, you know how it is, man. We always getting shadow banned and shut down and all kind of craziness up in here, right? So it looks like very, very normal for us, right? So we got to be cautious. We got to move with cautiousity, all right? And that's a new word I'm making up. You know, you can put it in the dictionary next year sometime, and you can tell them that we sent you that word, right? So at any rate, the reason why we are doing this live today is because, you know, initially something happened, but a whole bunch has actually happened, like quite a bit throughout the week and whatnot. But the truth is that what I wanted. The truth is that when it comes to the geopolitical arena and the takes that we've been given, like from years ago, and they're all just coming into fruition right now, we've been absolutely spot on. I saw a comment on the channel, right? Like after we did the live about when Donald Trump, he started the boycotts, not the boycotts, the whatchamacallit, the tariffs, right? He started those tariffs, and we said this is going to crash the economy. This is what we said. This is what he said. The economy crashed that day, and then that same day, Donald Trump reneged on doing the tariffs, and these bones and biscuits came on the channel talking about, well, it looks like the economy's okay. It looks like the economy's okay. Well, family, let me ask y'all something. Is the economy okay today? Is the economy okay today, family? You see, some of y'all are living in La La Land, and it's fine. It's cool. Like, as a matter of fact, the intellectual laziness of folks that has been nurtured by social media will obviously have most of y'all living in La La Land. Okay, let's just keep it a buck. Let's just keep it a buck. See, for example, this person right here, coming on in chat, we don't know who he is. It just showed up. We don't know who this person is. Is it a real person or is it a fake person? Please stop calling Dana Hikikichu a white supremacist. He has been refuting white supremacists, not Zionists nonstop since October census, since they've been attacking Palestine. Well, we're not going to stop calling him white supremacist because he is actually a white supremacist. We're sorry to get your panties in a bunch. Yep. Sorry to hurt your feelings. And if you want the proof, you want the evidence, it's like right there. Then you can come in the channel and watch the video. We have a whole playlist on Daniel. He's the only Muslim that we called him an actual white supremacist because he is an actual white supremacist. All his talking points come from white supremacists. And as a matter of fact, he's the only Muslim that advised other Muslims to go to white supremacists to get their talking points openly, mind you, openly to get their white supremacist talking points from actual white supremacists like Nick Fuentes. Now, family, let me ask y'all something. What do you get when you purchase a gay chihuahua from Temu? What do you get? Somebody put in the chat, please. My day ones know the answer to this, right? But for the benefit of folks just showing up one day without any information whatsoever because they in love with Zaddy and stuff, you know, they need themselves some Zaddy. They need themselves some white supremacy. So they will defend tooth and nail the white supremacy. And we don't know who this person is. We just show up. We don't know if it's a bot, if it's a real person. All we know is his name is, or her name is allegedly YY210. What's the matter? YY210 couldn't spell Bob? I mean, what's going on here? Exactly. When you want to purchase a gay chihuahua from Temu, you're going to get Nick Fuentes, right? And the only store that's selling that gay chihuahua is Daniel Kikichu Temu store, okay? This is who Daniel Kikichu he promotes. He pushes these kind of people. You know what I'm saying? So, but anyways, I digress. The whole point was that we were calling this from some time, right? We were calling this for time. And of course, on this channel, you get a whole bunch of haters, people trying to shut down the channel, all kind of craziness, right? Put all kind of craziness strikes on the channel, trying to get it shut down. You're trying all kind of madness. Like it's really real out here in these YouTube streets. Y'all hearing me? But you know what I'm saying? We're supposed to stop calling Dan Higichu a white supremacist. You know what I'm saying? And y'all ain't supposed to look in the mirror and stuff and take care of who you following. Like y'all are tripping. You're tripping. I don't know what kind of glue y'all are sniffing, but we need some over here on this side, okay? So we can be just as delusional as y'all. Like, come on, family. Come on. So we've been predicting all of this. All this stuff we've been predicting. And now, remember y'all last year we had these Muslims for Trump and all kind of craziness. Muslims for Trump. We had look here. Thanks, brother Rafi. Right? He says it's all right. You got proved right later on, anyways, and on Daniel and on all that stuff. Exactly. That's why they call me Negrodamus. It is what it is. Sorry to hurt your feelings. Sorry. Next time, loosen the lace on your panties and stuff. You might, be able to breathe easier. But I digress. The point is, that over here now, we always encourage intelligent Black folk, intelligent Muslims in general, to stay away from populism, especially when it comes through social media and stuff. Right? We also advise these folks that when you get knowledge, your Islamic knowledge and your Islamic talking points from YouTube, you are essentially investing into your own indoctrination, because YouTube is a business. YouTube monetizes on purpose some of the most craziest things And your Youtubian elites, they're cashing in on that. So they're not really invested in teaching you the truth. They're telling you the truth. They're basically there to tell you what's in their own financial interest. And a Muslim shouldn't seek knowledge from a Youtubian anyway, because that's ridiculous. And you are, if you put your whatchamacallit, your religious talking points and your deen and your spirituality into the hands and the trust of Youtubian elites, then you are a moron as much as Allah wills. Y'all hearing me? But anyways, family. Now we got this situation. Let me just pull this up 1 second, y'all. 1 second, y'all. 1 second, y'all, because this just happened today. Actually, you know what? Before we get into that, let's go rewind a little bit. Let's do a throwback. Can we do a throwback? I wasn't even planning on doing this, but let's do a throwback here. Or just to let you know what I'm talking about. Okay? We're throwing it back here. Let me get this all set up for y'all. One second, family. Here we go. Here we go. Okay, watch this, family. So let me just remind y'all of something that happened, like maybe about a month ago or so. Okay, look here. Just in case y'all missed it.
Are you happy with the outcome of the election?
They were able to build things that had not been precedented before. Get out of politics. You do not belong anywhere near politics. If you're going to go, the type of person that would be happy to get an invitation to a White House iftar, if you're the type of person that gets excited or happy, stay away from politics. Go do relief. Go do tahfeel. Do anything, but don't do politics, because you're not built for it. For the record, hot take, I think we should have a complete moratorium on interfaith.
We talked about this on during lunch, but I think we should address it here too. Why'd you leave Twitter? He's already smiling. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to another episode of the Prophetic Mentality Podcast.
Just to remind you,
Amr Mabruk, joined today by Imam Tom Fakini. That's the correct way to say it, right?
Yes.
Am I the best person who's ever said it?
No.
Oh. You did this, so I thought maybe
it was good. It was good.
Okay.
It was good.
First question I want to ask you is, are you happy with the outcome of the election?
Yeah. Bismillah, alhamdulillah, sallallahu. Generally, yes. I mean, and we need to understand exactly what we mean when we say happy with the outcome. We're not happy with anybody dying or anybody being put in risk or anybody getting deported or anybody being oppressed or anybody being put fair. But we do understand that in the long arc of history, sometimes you have to suffer short-term consequences in order to get long-term gains.
Okay, so you heard what he said. We're not happy with anybody being oppressed. We're not happy with anybody being deported. We're not happy with anybody being put at risk. We're not happy with any of those things, but we're happy with the short-term suffering for the long-term benefit. Like, family, come on, y'all. And the interview was like over an hour, I believe it was, where y'all can check it out. He wasn't challenged on a single point, not one single point. Not one. Just let him speak. Don't challenge him. Don't. What about this? What about that? What about that? No, nothing. Just I agree. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I does agree. I do, sir. I does agree. That's what it was the entire time. But I digress. Let's keep watching a little bit more, and then we'll get into the meat of it.
And so when we say we're quote unquote happy, this is not to minimize the suffering that many of us, if not all of us, are about to receive, or our brothers and sisters, whether they're abroad, right? We're talking about in Palestine and Gaza or elsewhere, or at home, you know, whether it's the African American community, whether it's our nonprofits, whether it's the Hispanic or the Latino community, right? This is not to minimize any of the suffering that comes ahead. But if you look at the Quran and you look at the way that history moves, sometimes you have to face something very, very scary and work through it. And that there's actually a sort of suffering that has to be endured strategically for a long-term benefit. And specifically, I believe, and I believe very strongly, that there's a very unique threat that Zionism poses to Muslims and to the whole apparatus of the United States of America, that it cuts across so many issues. The way in which Zionism...
Okay, so the main point is that he's trying to say that, in a long story short, because we don't want to get too deep, we dealt with this in detail anyways in the previous live, is that he thinks, okay, that Donald Trump's election will bring on the advent of the end of Zionism. Like, say what? Say what? But anyways, I digress. That he said what he said. He gotta live with it. Y'all get me? But anyways, 1 second, y'all. Let me just get out of here. Like that was, like I said before, I'm gonna say it one again. That's probably the single most delusional take politically I've ever heard a Muslim have on, Donald Trump. Delusional. And the poor brother who was interviewing him, poor brother Lamastan, didn't challenge him on a single thing. But anyways, that's not why we are gathered here today. We are gathered here today is because, let me put it here. Nick hit the nail on the head. He said the only reason Daniel, Dilly, Hijab, etc. are suddenly refuting white supremacists is because they were supporting Israel. If white supremacists say nice things about Palestine, they love them. That is a proven fact, which we have proven time and time to get on this channel. And we ain't fitting to prove it to folks who just got here. Instead of asking, what is your proof, brother Feachaz? What is your proof, brother Bilal, that Daniel Hikichu is a white supremacist? You out here, twitching and twirling and twerking for, out of all people in the dunya, Daniel Hikichu. Out of all people in the entire dunya, you could defend anybody that you can go to anybody's channel, anybody else's channel, and defend anybody you want, but you out here talking crazy. Look at this. Look at this. Brother Daniel is a deviant for sure. He calling Daniel deviant, but to call him a white supremacist is unjust. To call Daniel Hikichu a white supremacist is unjust. Like, you out here tripping. You out here tripping. He ain't never met a cracker he don't like. The only crackers he don't like are the pro-Zionist crackers. That's it. Made an entire list, a hit list, which we put out here on this channel of white supremacists that Muslims should follow. And you're out here talking about I'm the one being unjust. Like, y'all are tripping. But anyways, we didn't come here to talk about this. We came here to talk about something completely different. Let me get this all ready for you. Let me just close this one down too. 1 sec. 1 second, family. Oh, what is this? Oh. There we go. 1 second, y'all. Now look at here. Remember all the calamities that Donald Trump initiated in his first term while he was playing golf at Mar-a-Lago for like 80-90% of his presidential term. He did two things. He played golf and he tweeted whatchamacallit policy, right? During his first, it was a travesty, and it made for good entertainment on social media platforms. But other than that, he didn't really do much. But one thing that was consistent for him with Donald Trump is his unrelenting support for Israel and his undying hatred for Muslims. Those are two things, and black people. We all know that Donald Trump is an avid racist. We already know that. Yep. But I digress. This came out today. Look at this, y'all. Let me just fix this for y'all so y'all can see. Trump administration mulling new travel restrictions on citizens from dozens of countries. This is not 2016 Donald Trump. This is 2025 Donald Trump. Okay, this is a far more refined, thought out, and planned travel ban. Okay. So for y'all who missed it, this came out today. Okay. The Trump administration is considering issuing travel restrictions for citizens of dozens of countries as a part of a new ban, according to sources familiar with the matter, and an internal memo seen by Reuters. So now he's doing like this new type of travel ban. He's got 3 categories. Okay. And of course, it's just littered with Muslim countries, of course, right? You have to. he's got a reputation to keep. Y'all hearing? He's got to keep his reputation intact, right? But we are going just to read this little article to see the details of these travel restrictions. Okay. The memo lists a total of 41 countries divided into 3 separate groups. The first group of 10 countries including Afghanistan, Iran, Syria, Cuba, and North Korea, among others, would be set to full visa suspension. Full visa suspension. Okay. So where are the countries? Afghanistan, of course. Iran, of course. You got to expect that. You got to expect Syria, of course. Right? The second group, 5 countries, Eritrea, Haiti, Laos, Myanmar, and South Sudan, would face a partial suspensions and would affect tourists and student visas, as well as the immigrant visas with some exceptions. Okay. The third group, total of 26 countries, include Belarus, Pakistan. Hey, we gotta suffer. We got to suffer. Hey, Pakistan, we can go suffer together. Is it okay, Pakistan, if we suffer together? We gotta suffer. We got to suffer. Okay. Okay. And Turkmenistan, I don't know even why they even put Turkmenistan in there. And among others, it will be considered a partial suspension of U.S. visa issuance if their governments, and this is a quote here, do not make efforts to address deficiencies within 60 days. The list has yet to be approved by the administration, including U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio, and could be amended, officials told the outlet. The memo follows an executive order issued on the 20th of January that requires intensified scrutiny vetting of any foreigners seeking admission to the U.S. to detect national security threats. I mean, this is so like delicioso. It's so delicious, man. It is so delicious. Can you imagine the criminals vetting the foreigners? Like, this is crazy, man. The ones who bring all kinds of harm and turmoil to all these countries. Look at the countries they mentioned. Okay, they mentioned Haiti. Haiti is a massive problem that the U.S. created directly. Okay, they mentioned South Sudan, another issue that originated from the U.S. South Sudan. They mentioned Syria. They mentioned Afghanistan. They mentioned Cuba. All these countries that the U.S. one way or another actively participated in destabilizing, and then they turn around and say, "Oh, y'all can't migrate over here because y'all are some criminals." Like, what? They mentioned Pakistan. We talked about this, about the Pakistani election, how the U.S. essentially were the ones responsible for deposing Imran Khan. They were directly involved in his disposition, which brought in this new government that you have in Pakistan. Like, when you talk about all this stuff, and now they do all this wickedness and evil throughout the earth, and they're talking about, well, y'all can't come here. Like, who really wants to go to the U.S. nowadays anyways? Like, you know, like the old saying goes, yesterday's price is not today's price. The U.S. is becoming increasingly isolated. And everybody looking for alternatives for the U.S. nowadays. They are no longer the big dogs in town and the only game in town. Those days are long, long, long gone. America is the only country that went from barbarism to decadence without a civilization in between. They just went instantly from barbarism. They didn't, refine themselves, civilize themselves. By the way, we're talking about white supremacists now. They didn't do all that. They just went from barbarism to decadence. That's it. That's all they did. But I digress. Where are we here? During the first Trump administration in 2017, a partial ban, mind you, imposed on travelers from predominantly Muslim population nations was labeled a Muslim ban by Trump and his aides. Okay. 14 months earlier, after an Islamic State-inspired mass shooting in San Bernardino, California, Trump called for a total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the U.S. until our country's representatives can figure out what the hell is going on. Then we got Muslims out here talking about, great idea. Like what? Like what? But that's not the only thing, family. Let me see. Did I get it set up here? Let me see. Let me check, y'all. 1 second. Let me just pull it up. There we go. Here. This is the other one. This happened today. Trump orders strikes on Iran-backed Houthi rebels in Yemen and issues new warning. You can't make this stuff up. Now, look here, family. We are absolutely no fans of Houthis whatsoever. Yeah, I blasted the Houthis a couple of times up in this channel anyways. Houthis are they're devilish too. they many devils, okay? They are many devils. But do you know why? You know what? Let me just read it. Let me just read it anyways, right? In case you didn't guess why Trump would suddenly start attacking Houthis, we'll read it for you, okay? West Palm Beach, President Donald Trump has issued a series of airstrikes on Yemen's capital, Sana'a, on Saturday, promising to use overwhelming lethal force until the Iranian-backed Houthi rebels cease their attacks on shipping along vital maritime corridor. That's the only reason why he's attacking the Houthis. Because the Houthis are attacking ships and supply heading towards Israel. That's why they're attacking them. You get it? Our brave warfighters are right now carrying out aerial attacks on the terrorists. Bases, leaders, and missile defenses to protect American shipping, air, and naval assets and restore navigational freedom. Oh my, like what in the hell? You don't see any terrorists in Israel by any chance? By any chance, did you notice any terrorists in Israel? Just by any chance? You know, people like with indiscriminately shooting men, women, children, gang rapisting men, women, and children, gang rapisting them, even on video doing it, advertising their genocide of Palestinian people as a sort of PR stunt all over X and stuff and TikTok and whatnot. You didn't notice any of that? You didn't notice any? But I want to show y'all something else. Okay, let me just see if I can load it up here, family. 1 second, y'all. One second, y'all. Did I come in? No, I didn't. I wasn't able to get it. 1 second. Let me see. There it is. Okay, there it is. Okay, so let's get this.
Democracy depends on a free press. Please support our independent. Judge Beryl Howell wrote malfeasance in office.
So if the Department of Education closes,
consulates as well as any more diplomatic mission. Board member Kathy Harris, Pentagon's inspector generals halting efforts to identify and face life-threatening danger in their home country for assisting U.S. forces.
That also could be Russian language, Crimean Tatar, and other.
Elon and the group are going to be watching them, and if they can cut,
they're open to joining a coalition of the willing to support Ukraine. President Trump directed members of his cabinet Thursday to take the lead in firing thousands of federal workers rather than waiting for directives from his billionaire advisor, Elon Musk, head of the Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE.
We want them to keep the good people, and so we're going to be watching them, and Elon and the group are going to be watching them, and if they can cut, it's better, and if they don't cut, then Elon will do the cutting.
Trump's directive came after the Republican-controlled Senate voted to repeal a rule that would subject digital payment apps.
Anyways, that's not the one I want to show y'all. 1 second. Let me see if I can upload it. 1 second, family. Let's see if I can find it. Let's see here. 1 second. Oh, I think I have it somewhere else. One moment. No, I'm going to have to show y'all that later, man. Maybe on a different live anyways. Yeah, I think you're going to have to show y'all that in a different live. 1 second, okay? Like, look at the bones and biscuits. They coming out from everywhere nowadays, man. Now, Trump is against Islam. It's not normal Muslim. Like, how delusional can you be? You can't make this crap up. You think we are against Trump in the Arab world? LOL, I got news for you. We absolutely love him. Name one thing Trump did that was racist. Family, are y'all ready for this? See, this is what I don't understand. We don't know these people, right? We don't know if they're bots or if they're actually real people, right? But the statement in itself is so like outrageously ridiculous. Trump is against Islam. It's not normal Muslim. Like, are you tripping? And then you turn around and come to this channel of all the channels you can go to and ask, name one thing that Trump did was racist. Y'all ready? Y'all ready? Somebody count it down for me, okay? Number one, 1973, was sued by Richard Nixon administration for refusal to rent to black people. Number two, 1980s, Trump's casinos accused of hiding black workers when Trump arrived at his casinos, okay? 1989, Trump took out an entire full-page ad in several papers, including the Daily News, arguing for the death penalty for 5 innocent black youth known as the Central Park Five, very popularized, very well known, right? Effectively plaguing them with a lifetime of death threats, and he was sued by the Department of Justice for discrimination. Number four, 1990. You said one, right? I'm giving y'all a present today. You're coming all over here tripping. I don't know why. Ain't nobody know you. 1999, he says, and I'm quoting out of his own mouth, "Black guys counting my money, I hate it. The only thing the only people that I want counting my money are short guys with wearing yarmulkes all day. I think that black guys are lazy. And it's probably not their fault because laziness, and I'm quoting here, laziness is a trait amongst blacks. It really is. You can't make this. Laziness is a trait amongst blacks. It really is. It really is. 1992. Trump's casino. Anybody could look this up right now. Where's your Google? Sharif? You got Google, Sharif? If that's your real name. 1992, Trump's casino was fined $200,000 transferring black dealers off certain tables because to appease racist patrons. Should we keep going? You know what? Let me put the link in the chat. Because y'all are tripping, man. They come over here, they disturb our peace. We out here talking to family. You come here as a guest. That's the first thing you start doing. You know, we're talking to family. We're talking to black folk. We're talking to black Muslims. Like, who invited you? If you want to go be racist somewhere, go be racist with the racists somewhere. It's fine. You and the racists, all of y'all can rot in hell. We hope every single racist and white supremacist rots in hell anyways, which of course is the promise of the Prophet. He said anybody with a mustard seed of Jahiliyyah in them will never get the scent of Jannah. Your only avenue is actual Tawbah, is actual repentance. Name one thing. One thing? Should we keep going, family? Y'all are tripping today. 1993, Trump said that Native American casinos shouldn't be allowed because they don't look like Indians to me. He said this. 2004, Trump fired a black contestant from The Apprentice for being overeducated. 2010, this is the same guy saying that Trump don't like Muslims. In 2010, Trump argued in favor for segregating Muslims in Lower Manhattan. Y'all are slow, man. And not just slow, like outrageously slow. Should we keep going or should we just leave it? Let's give him at least 10. At least 10. 2011. Trump alleges that Obama was born in Kenya based upon nothing but his skin color. Like, what is y'all just come over here tripping, man? And nobody knows these folks. Can we talk to our family, please? Run along and go see Daniel and them, and then and his gay chihuahua from TV and stuff. It could be. I bet you that's a Zionist pretending to and creating that crowd. It could very possibly be. Just got back, LOL. Trump hella racist. What exactly? Like what? Like what are you talking about? Of course it's racist. What are you saying? Name one thing. One thing? Just only one? Like what are you saying today? I digress, family. Where were we, man? We were so rudely interrupted by interpolators and infiltrators and who the heck knows. And then just coming here causing trouble for no reason, man. Go drink your salty cracker tears, man. You know what I'm saying? Drown in your salty cracker tears. And if you think it's just us, you want to see what some of these salty crackers are actually saying? Folks that voted for Trump. Look at here. Let me get something for y'all. 1 second, man. 1 second. Let me just get something for y'all. Like, y'all are so crazy. Look at this one. Let's get this one.
They're just taking money out of people's accounts as part of their utility bill. Oh, Trump cut off all that money. That's been helping pay your utility bill, Alabama. And so now we're going to start taking all that money back. And by the way, you owe. You owe. You have to pay money.
Watch this.
More than you have been, not only for your additional
charge me.
I live in Alabama.
No, I swear to y'all, ours seems like it's just getting higher every month.
I just need someone to explain something to me. I live in Alabama, and my utility bill usually averages between $200, $250 a month. Can someone please explain to me how my utility bill went from $250 a month to $696 this month? Could someone just please explain that to me?
Hello guys, and welcome to the J Report. In today's video, we are going to talk about Alabama MAGA voters who are now recruiting their just because it was liking and sharing so that YouTube may recommend it to a wider audience. And now, without further ado guys, let's go straight into this video. But first, let me play you a few clips on this matter and I'll come back with my commentary.
accounts have been debited. They're just taking money out of people's accounts as part of their utility bill.
Watch this, y'all.
Oh, Trump cut off all that money. That's been helping pay your utility bill, Alabama. And so now we're going to start taking all that money back. And by the way, you owe. You owe. You have to pay money more than you have been, not only for your additional bills. You have to pay back what Trump is no longer allowing to be spent. And
now we already put out here, since the orange resident and president came into office, egg prices. How much were the egg prices again? Like some ridiculous price. Like what was it? Like I can't remember. It was something crazy. We could put it out again, right? But I think it's like $8 or $9 USD or something like that. Okay. Maybe more. I think some places like $13 USD, something like that. Right. We put it out there. Right. And people were fighting each other in Costco for eggs. Okay. Now in Alabama, Trump country, okay, their utility bills are doubling and tripling. And they're getting automatically debited from their accounts directly. You heard the first lady talking about her utility bill is normally $200, $250, and went up to shot up in $600 in 1 month. Why is that? Because of Doge. Because of Doge. So y'all can drown in your salty cracker tears. The reason why things are so expensive in the U.S. is directly because of racism. Explicitly because of racism. Because white supremacists will burn everything to the ground before they have to share anything with anybody else. And ain't nobody fitting to feel sorry for y'all. Cry me a goddamn river.
That, Alabama utility customers finding, hundreds of dollars taken out of their account in the middle of winter, right? I mean, I guess it's a small story in the grand scheme of things, given what's going on in our whole country. But for people in Alabama, that's a real and immediate and hugely expensive thing that is very obviously Donald Trump's fault.
We love a great FAFO moment, and I have another one for you. First, some background. 65% of the state of Alabama voted for Donald Trump. Alabama is in the top 10 poorest states in the United States related to federal poverty level. While many of these voters sit behind their computers and celebrate Elon Musk cutting waste, little did they know it was going to impact them. This week, over 250 residents in Huntsville, Alabama received a notice from their electric company that they were going to have to pay an additional $100 surcharge.
Now, Sister Tika, she put out the trolls. The trolls are out today. Yeah, even me, I don't think a lot of these trolls are Muslim, to be honest. Like, if they're Muslim, come to the chat, prove it. Come to the chat, step up to the chat and prove it. I personally think they're bots. And we mentioned that they would be out anyways. We talked about this. We talked about this when all of your CEOs for all of these these social media platforms kissed the ring of Trump. It empowered them. All right, so let's keep watching, y'all.
The explanation for this was that Donald Trump's recent executive order ended a $1 million grant to the utilities company to help these customers pay for their electric bill. Leaders in Alabama are furious because they said this is counterintuitive to Donald Trump's promise to lower energy costs. Tots and pears.
In the latest episode of Fuck Around and Find Out, we have Alabama finding out that credit that they were receiving for those electric bills was coming from federal funds that Don Don has turned off and has not turned back on and doesn't look like he will be turning back on. So we're looking at about 2,000 homes. So roughly about 225 people have already received their letter in the mail stating that credit that they once received on their electric bill, which was roughly about $100, they will no longer be receiving, and it will be debited, and they will need to be paying it back. Now, there's tons of videos of people saying, oh, wait, but no. Again, once we check the voter rolls and the statistics of that state, we see that was a very big Don Don supporter, so you all absolutely got what you were asking for. You wanted him, and you wanted him to weed out all of that government spending. Well, here we are. This money absolutely came from the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act that basically came from the Department of Health and Human Services. And this is for low-income home energy assistance programs is how they were using this money. Now, we are definitely in a constitutional crisis because Congress has already awarded this money that they are over here withholding. That's how they're saying that they have found all of this government spending that was wasteful and whatnot, just by not turning on money that was already awarded to programs like this. So you're looking at elderly, you're looking at children that will not have electricity come in the coming months because why? $100 will absolutely bankrupt people who are living paycheck to paycheck. I mean, ends barely waving at each other, nonetheless meeting.
And family, as well as, I used to live in Saudi Arabia for like 9 years. I lived in Yemen as well, right? For 6 months. And let me tell you something, man. The idea, like capitalism itself, the idea of capitalism will eventually lead to situations like this, right? It's inevitable. The origins of capitalism are rooted in slavery. Essentially, outsourcing labor for maximum profit and minimum loss. In this case, slavery, they didn't pay anybody. Anyway, they wasn't paying no black folk. And as a matter of fact, the capital was the black folk. And the reason why all of this hoopla about immigration and stuff like that is not because of crime or anything like that. It is because, as Dr. Frances Cress Welsing said, how many decades ago? During the 70s, she was warning about this. She said it's because of the fear of white genetic annihilation. That's what she said. That's all it's about. And we put out that Joe Biden, with the impotent and incompetent and useless and irrelevant Black caucus, told them to their face, y'all are going to have to work with the Latinos and stuff, because by the year 2040, white folks will be a minority in this country. And that's what he said. That's what all this is about. Henry Kissinger mandated, I think it was Henry Kissinger, I'm pretty sure, for the Black population within the states, particularly, that they should always be around between 13 to 14%, right? Which is why you have all these crazy things going on in the Black community. All this matters. Population control. When there was a time in the Americas where Black folk for every one white person, you have four to five Black people because of slavery. Right? And that really changed during the Homestead Act, when America in general started a mass migration project, giving away millions of acres of land to white people in order to change the demographic permanently in America to white. And similar things were done in Argentina, similar things were done in Colombia, similar things were done in Brazil. Brazil, what they did is they mass immigrated Japanese to mix with Black people to lighten the race. We're talking about all that kind of stuff over here. Y'all get me? So we also mentioned that these oppressive types, they always have an idda. They always have a time period. Allah mentions in the Quran, had he punished the people at the time during their dhulm, doing their wrongdoing, then there would be no people left on the earth. But he gives everybody a time for respite, a time for repentance, a time for reflection and tawbah and things of this nature. He gives this to all people. The idda for white supremacists it's clearly coming to a close. At least for me, it looks pretty obvious to me. You get me? And these are the consequences of your 500, 400, 500 year choices. These are the actions of people who know that their time is up. Like we said before, America is the only country that went from barbarism to decadence without a civilization in between. They're in the age of decadence right now. They started off with barbarism, the transatlantic slavery, the culling of indigenous masses. All that kind of stuff. But I digress, family. Look here. I want to show y'all something again. Let me just see if I can pull it up here. 1 second. Now, this is something that's going on right now in Serbia. 1 second. If y'all didn't hear, let me just show y'all this one. Okay. There's like so much stuff going on. Oh, did I click it off? Oh, man. I clicked the wrong thing. 1 second. I pressed the wrong thing. Let me just go over here. There we go. All right. Serbians staged huge protests in Belgrade against their president. Farmers and bikers joined students in climate movement that Alexander Vučić labels an imported revolution. Now, for those of y'all who don't know what's going on in Serbia, like Argentina, like Brazil a few years ago, like Hungary, has a populist far-right movement there running the country. And every far-right government always eventually descends into fascism, was what you're seeing in the United States today. So if you want to see what the future holds for the US, you don't have to look very far. Just look to Argentina, look to Hungary, look to Serbia, look at these type of countries. Austerity measures, usurping of social services, tax breaks for the ultra wealthy. That's the move that they make. These are the type of moves that they make right now. Right? So let me just read this for you. Rafi says, I swear this guy has to be some kind of bot. Yeah, I believe that as well. The link's in the chat. If they want to prove they're not bots, click the link. And if you want the smoke, pick up the microphone. Links in the chat. Come get the smoke. Anybody can hide behind a keyboard like a coward, and we don't know you. We don't know you. We ain't ever seen you before. And this is not the channel for that anyways. So if you want the smoke, pick up the mic, come get the smoke. Otherwise, we just treat you like a bot, whatever. We got mods here and everything. Let's keep going, y'all. Vast demonstrations have been gathering at Belgrade, marking the climax of more than 4 months of student-led protests and the biggest challenge to President Alexander Vučić in 11 years of his increasingly autocratic rule. Do you know some country out here in the West that has increasingly autocratic rule? Vucic stoked tensions in the run-up to yesterday's mass protest, suggesting that there would be an attempt to overthrow him by force and calling it an imported revolution. Word. Word. Because people will love, the general people public loves fascism so much. Like what? Now, what do you expect was going to happen? With the involvement of Western intelligence agencies, but he would provide no evidence of the claims. Of course he didn't. Of course, the demonstrations against governments, corruption, and incompetence have so far been overwhelmingly peaceful. Hundreds of government supporters, mostly black-clad young men wearing baseball caps and many with matching black backpacks, gathered their Belgrade's, Pionirski's Park, opposite the Serbian parliament, one of the focal points of the demonstration. Local reports suggested that there were a number of organized football hooligan groups among them, as well as the veterans of Red Berets and special forces that implicated in 2003 assassination of Serbia's liberal prime minister Zoran Zinjic. So you get the point. The eventual path for fascists is always like this. It always ends up like this. When you start, giving almost unlimited power to corporations and usurp the power of the people, then of course you're gonna have this. And the only way to keep it, basically keep it in place is through heavy hands, a heavy-handed approach. Thus, you have things like the SS in the time of, Adolf Hitler and them in World War II. And now, ICE is pretty much the SS of the United States. We mentioned before that we don't believe the border wall, this alleged border wall anyways, is about keeping foreigners out per se. We believe it's more about keeping Americans in, or for what's coming. There is already a mass migration out of the United States since, Trump came in office. Many people are leaving the States because of this. And people are feeling the pain, of course, as we mentioned before, as we saw already in Alabama. That's just one example. There's way too many examples to post in this live. All right? So what else we got for you, family? 1 second. Links in the chat if anybody wants to hop on. 1 second, family. Now, this one just came out today. I haven't seen it, actually. All right, so we're going to be watching this together, actually. 1 second, family. Let me get this all queued up. Just watch this.
Europe is going directly after the red states over Donald Trump's tariffs. Trump picked a fight with Europe, and they are hitting back hard. But the twist is that they are trying to make the pain land mostly in Republican states. This is very interesting. And this is what happens when Trump plays tough on trade without a real plan. Trump's slapping these tariffs on steel and aluminum from Europe. And in response, the EU is dropping billions in counter tariffs on American goods. But they're being very careful about exactly what they are going after. They are going after soybeans from Louisiana. They're going after beef and poultry from Kansas and Nebraska. They're going after produce from Alabama and Georgia and Virginia. really red states, Virginia sometimes the exception, depending on whether you're talking local or national elections. Georgia did vote for Biden in 2020, but generally a red state.
Now, I'm not sure if you all saw, but even China, I think it was yesterday, they announced that they will no longer be purchasing beef from the U.S., which is major. So now you have the EU countries saying they're not purchasing U.S. beef, and you have China saying we're not going to purchase U.S. beef, and you have Donald Trump going bonkers with these tariffs and stuff. So the only people that are really going to be ended up buying U.S. beef is Canada, and even Canada might not even buy U.S. beef. Might not end up buying U.S. beef. And in my humble opinion, the whole point behind this isolation is to actually destabilize the country. For those who don't know, Elon Musk is part of a tech conglomerate who they want the destabilization of the United States. What does it say here? Bilal, you're going to show the other video? No, I'm not going to show it now because it's going to take me too long to get it. I'm going to probably do it another video, right? But yeah, if we get a chance anyways, because I'm not sure how long I can do the politics on this channel because I keep getting, shut down, all that kind of stuff. And now we're seeing, uninvited interpolators coming over here who we don't know who they are. They refuse to come on the mic. And they're just trolling. They ain't got nothing better to do. Right? So they're coming over here. We ain't the one for that. All right, it makes for good entertainment when I roast them one or two times, right? But at the same time, it's kind of thrown out. We're live, right? So when you're doing live, you're bound to make mistakes. You're bound to lose your train of thought, all kind of stuff, right? Because you're live, right? You're not preparing the video. You get me? All right. So if they're serious, they can come up and get the smoke. But they out here, with their panties in the bunch and all kind of stuff. You get me? All they can do is, smash the keys on their keyboard or whatever, and and we don't know y'all. We don't know y'all. So I'm just saying, let's keep watching, y'all.
State. And meanwhile, the blue states, Europe is not targeting. Why? Because our allies know that this is a Trump problem. This is not an America problem. On the bonus show a couple days ago, producer Pat and I talked about how my experiences in Canada, in Europe recently, even in South America, people's reaction when they hear that I'm from the United States is not to go, oh, you bastards with the Trump stuff. It's to assume I'm not party to it. I'm not part of it. I'm not supportive of it. And of course, they're correct when it comes to Trump. But the idea here is that Europe is doing what it can to avoid hurting the states that didn't vote for this nonsense. Now, of course, it's a little bit, that there are people who voted for Harris in red states, and there are people who voted for Trump in blue states. What was it? 35, 40% of Texas voted for Harris. 35, 40% of Massachusetts voted for Trump. But there's probably no more accurate shorthand other than maybe, cities and rural. But what the European Commission is trying to do is say tariffs are bad for everybody. They raise prices, they kill jobs, they make the economy more unstable. American businesses seem to agree. Chamber of Commerce is begging for negotiations. Trump doesn't care.
The best thing about Donald Trump is that I wish that we can collect some of the salty tears of these crackers so we can season our food with it. I mean, I wish there was a market for that. All of these crackers losing their minds for voting for Donald Trump. Losing their minds, making TikToks, making Instagrams and stuff. I regret voting for Donald Trump. All kind of craziness. I regret it. I would season my fried chicken with their salty tears and stuff. For sure I would. You kidding me? I would pay top dollar, you know. I would, sacrifice half my food for some of those tears. You done messed up. Because you chose white supremacy over everything. Well, congratulations. Ideology in modern times is very easily manipulated in order to conjure up support and manufacture support for things like this. It's so easy manipulated, man. And so you have morons. Well, let me just rephrase that. You have the manufacturing of morons through social media. Because reading is not for reading books anymore. It's for reading Twitter posts and stuff like that. And they believe that PR and policy are the same thing. They don't believe that PR is defunct of policy. You get me? So they will take entire positions based upon a meme. And they will hold on to these positions because a meme went viral and stuff in their own little echo chambers on some alt-right platform on X somewhere. So now you're having an FAFO moment. And we are like, well, excuse me, sir, but do you have any gray poupon? That's what we like over here. You mean you're going to lose your house? You mean you're going to lose your business? You mean you lost your job? Word? You don't say. And for the Muslims who voted for Trump, oh, you mean you're getting deported? You mean you lost your student visa? You don't say. Here's to me drinking my Starbucks coffee guilt-free. You tell me nothing. This type of whatchamacallit? Like, how do I describe this, family? The ones who own and control capital, right? They always try to remain in a perpetual state of owning and controlling capital. And racism has been a gold mine for the last 400 or 500 years. Absolute gold mine. Because if you get people to accept an ideology that is against their better interest, then you're able to extract as much wealth as possible, as long as they believe these wicked, evil things, right? So once the state has been established, the problem of the ruling group or the ruling caste is how to maintain the rule, okay? That's the main problem. So when you have a fascist type of ideology like these folks are, because Trump himself, he's not an ideologue, but the people behind him are ideologues. Force becomes their modus operandi. That's why they want to kick, like we mentioned before, they want to kick out all these immigrants and stuff. And their basic long-term problem is always ideological. Because say, for example, they kick out all the migrants today. If they did it. Like, if say I'm Thanos, right? Okay. And I could kick out all the migrants today. And they'd be like, they out there cheering, happy and happy and busting with love. The question becomes, how would they maintain, extracting wealth from amongst themselves? because they will absolutely turn on themselves. And this is what's happening right now. They're turning on themselves. For the office to continue, any government must have support of the majority of subjects. It's not necessary for them support to manifest itself, but it's like an active enthusiasm. Okay. Muslim skeptics in the house. I'm going to put the link in the chat. Let's see what let's see what the white supremacist enthusiast got to say. Links in the chat, Daniel. Come on in. Come on down. May Allah reward you and bless you and multiply for you a millionfold, brother. Psych for Prez. Ameen. 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 So here we go. He said, Muslim skeptic, I don't know if it's a real Daniel, but he says, I curb stomped this guy years ago, and he has been mentioning me ever since to his 4 followers. Sorry, I don't have the time to debate you or your compassionate imam buddies on St. Floyd. Keep seething. You see it? Come on, Daniel. Come on, hop in. Show everybody how you curb a stomp to me. Okay. Don't hate, participate. I mean, we are the what you call it? What did you call us again, Daniel? You called us the social media losers, whatever you called us. Come on, buddy. You curb stomp me? No problem. Come curb stomp me again. Don't hate. Participate, Daniel. You love yourself a debate, right? I mean, you do love yourself a debate. Y'all is tripping, man. How's purchasing those gay chihuahuas from Timo coming there, Daniel? Anyways, let's keep going, y'all. He goes, stream's about to get juicy. I mean, damn, he knows what happened. Everybody who saw that debate knows what happened. Remember when we used to tell folks, listen, it was a friendly debate. It was friendly, right? But the truth is that, to put it lightly, I ate Daniel's food. Okay. It was on Sajid channel. Okay. It was on Sajid channel, and I ate his food. But we were nice, we were cordial, and we didn't talk about him at all, right? And folks were sending me stuff about his alt-right leanings and all kind of stuff. We did not mention him. It was only until I can't even remember the things. Anyways, the things on the channel. Anyways, right? An entire playlist, family, a whole playlist, right? And we started off mentioning that. Looky here, this dude is pandering to the alt-right. That's how we started, and the rest is history. You got more information. This guy has to be fake. LOL. Rafi says, all right, so he's too busy dealing with Jake and Fareed and everyone else. I mean, the guy has his hands full. I don't think. Maybe Daniel might come in because he is trollish. He does troll for sure. But he does it mostly on Twitter, I guess, X, right? This is from somebody who actually saw the debate. She says, Sister Tika says, I was a witness there. You got stomped so bad. Said you had to remove the video. I'm just saying. I didn't want to toot my own horn and stuff, but that's exactly what happened. Sajid removed the video because, it is what it is. To protect you, Daniel. He removed the video to protect you. You get it? So I'm just saying, But I digress, family. Where was we? I'm going to leave the link in the chat again. All right, let's get back to business. 1 second, y'all.
He did this in the first term. The tariffs didn't work out well. So now the EU is rolling out these counter tariffs in phases. First, they're bringing back old tariffs from the last Trump trade war. Then they're slapping new ones on 20 billion in American exports next month. And the reality is that Trump's so-called America First policies are leaving American workers last. That's who really suffers here. And the European Union was ready. Red states were not. So soon, you're going to start hearing from angry, furious Republican lawmakers saying farmers are furious with us. Factory workers are furious with us. Business owners are furious with us. Now, there's another aspect to this, and this is so important to understand. One reason that tariffs hit red states harder is that many red states rely on one or sometimes two key industries. And on average, blue states have more diversified economies. Look at Nebraska and Kansas. Agriculture.
This is actually a fact. This is actually a fact. And a lot of the red states, they depend on agriculture as well. We mentioned this before, that before there was a left and right paradigm, because this is kind of like a new type of thing in terms of, well, you can't really call it newish, but really it started really happening during the turn of the century. Okay, the left-right type of paradigm, and it really took off after the civil rights movement. And that's when it really took off. Okay, after the civil rights movement, right? But before that, politics in the U.S. Specifically was a north-south thing. It wasn't a left-right thing, right? So you had the states to the north and then the states to the south. And the reason why Abraham Lincoln initiated the Civil War wasn't because of slavery, right? It wasn't because he wanted to free the slaves. And don't get it twisted. Okay. We also mentioned that back in those days, the Republican Party, which Abraham Lincoln, you could say he's like kind of like the founder of, they were called the Whigs at that time. They were called the Whigs, and they eventually became the Republican Party, right? They were the northern states, okay? And the southern states, what they wanted to do was they wanted to expand railways west, but use slave labor in order to do so. And this would give them, more financial leverage over the North, and they were trying to succeed from the Union because of this. That's why the whole Civil War thing started, right? Because the southern states were trying to secede from the Union, and Abraham Lincoln was like, "Oh hell no!" And that's why he said. Eventually, he said he promised emancipation for slaves, because it was the slaves that were the military might fueling the Civil War. Okay, that's the really summarized version. Okay, the really summarized version. But up until this day, the southern states are mostly like just very few industries. Lots of agriculture. You have some oil states like Texas and things of that nature, right? You have like farmers, cattle farmers, and all kind of stuff, right? This is kind of the thing that's going on in the South. Whereas the North is more industrial. It's more diversified. You get it? But I digress. Okay, let's keep watching this, y'all. We'll go on for a couple of more minutes because we've been on for about a hour and a half, and nobody wants to come on. If none of these trolls are coming on, we'll just leave it at that, man. You know, like we don't know you. Okay, like who are you? Are you a real person? You know, are you one of Elon Musk's, paid bots? Are you the FBI? Who are you? Come on, click the link and come defend your zaddy. Come defend Daniel. Ayatollah Hakikuchu. Come defend them. The Ayatollah.
Culture. That's the dominant industry, period. When tariffs hit beef, poultry, soybeans, there is nowhere to hide. West Virginia, heavily dependent on coal. If coal struggles, West Virginia struggles. Now compare that to California. California has tech, entertainment, agriculture, and manufacturing. Compared to New York, finance, media, tourism, major drivers of the economy. Massachusetts, biotech, robotics, AI, healthcare, higher education, finance, insurance, tourism, defense, aerospace, and manufacturing. If one sector takes a hit, there are other industries to absorb the impact. And this is why Donald Trump's reckless policies trigger the economic retaliation, and red states end up feeling the pain more directly. They do not have the same economic safety nets that blue states do. Trump got his tough guy moment. It ignores the fact that his voters are going to be the ones paying for it, but he got his moment. I have a book coming out.
Okay, thank you. 1 second, Fanny. 1 second, y'all. Let me just get rid of this here. Stop sharing that. Let me see if I can get another one up. We're going to keep it going for a couple more minutes just in case somebody wants to come on. If not, then we'll just call it a night. 1 second, family. Let's see. There's too much stuff. But like I said, we're probably going to move away from the politics because it's just too much trouble here in Ottawa. You know, they keep blocking us every time they blocking us. Oh, this one is pretty good. 1 second. Now watch this one, y'all. This one's crazy. Watch this one for a minute.
Like class consciousness part. It's because of racism, babe. Yeah. And post Reconstruction era South after those
1
traitors.
second, family. Let me just rewind this. Yeah, Ayatollah Hakikuchu. The Ayatollah. Yeah, Hussein. Yeah, Hussein. Yeah, Hussein. Oh, he can't do that. He can't do that. He's got to do it. He's got to do it through subversion, family. He's got to hide. He's got to hide. All his Akita teachers, every last one of them is a Ashadi Ma'atuda D Sufi, and he's an athlete. Like, go figure. Go figure, family. Let's keep watching, y'all.
Day for this. Because I've reached the part in this whole like class consciousness part where I'm just filled with the most impotent rage, and like I'm talking that white hot I need to sink my teeth into something and scream kind of rage. Because what do you mean that it never had to be this hard for us? Like, what do you mean in other countries they don't have to spend 20% of their paycheck on groceries? What do you mean in other countries everyone can own homes because they're not paying?
Look at those juicy white woman tears. The juicy white woman tears. I need a cup. I need a cup for seasoning my beef and my chicken and my halal pork meat. Delicious white woman tears. She now find out what it means to live like a black people. Let's keep watching, family.
$2,000 a month in rent, or that their mortgages aren't like their entire paycheck. What do you mean that people in China work one job and they don't even work 40 hours and they can easily afford their life? And then I'm over here working 60 hours a week, just me as a single parent, to like barely make ends meet, and I'm penny pinching every single second, and like there's so much of life that my kid misses out on and that I miss out on because of money and like work and no social support net. And you mean to tell me that it didn't have to be like this?
Oh, boo-hoo, honey. We done been telling you. We done been telling you, honey. You didn't want to listen.
They keep us in these chains on purpose, and it never had to be like this. Like, I did everything right. I went to college. I had to drop out of college to take care of my mom when she was sick because, again, no social services, like, no safety nets. My dad worked his whole life and died and left everything to my mom. My mom was disabled, and she lived on credit, and like she barely made ends meet, and she did everything she was supposed to, and I did everything I was supposed to, and it just keeps getting worse. It was never supposed to be like this, and I'm so angry that it is. Because what do you mean? I've spent so much of my life working so hard to scrape by, and it never had to be like that. My suffering was at the expense of someone else becoming wealthy. Because
No, you got to pick yourself up by your bootstraps. Pick yourself up by your bootstraps, honey. You didn't know? Pick yourself up by your bootstraps? Just keep watching, y'all.
Because they could. And I am so angry about this. It can't stay like this. It doesn't have to stay like this.
Well, you don't say.
The amount of white people, since we've all gone to Red Note and have made Chinese friends, the amount of white people who are coming back to this app and saying that we're being scammed and, oh my goodness, that we shouldn't be living like this in America. Oh my God. You had to get on a Chinese app to learn that life isn't meant to be hard. And the way that we live life in these United States is difficult as hell because that's by design. These are all manufactured problems. Y'all had to get on an app made by the Chinese to learn that. But when black people were trying to tell y'all that
the American dream, a promise of opportunity, success, and upward mobility. But for millions, this dream feels more like a might. Why? Because the system is rigged.
Let's forward a little bit.
Later.
All the white people going on Xiaohongshu, and they're like, oh my God, China, they have everything. Their food is cheap. They have good schools, blah, 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 blah. Why don't we have that? Racism.
Yep. We said it
it's
before.
It's because of racism, babe. Yeah. And post-Reconstruction era South, after those traitors lost the Civil War, the South was devastated. This is just an example. The South was devastated, like in every way you could think of. The Northern troops had burned their...
Do you know why you guys pay for college tuition and university tuition? The same thing, racism. It's because of racism. It's because white folks didn't want black people in their institutions. It used to be free. Education used to be free in higher education. And in some countries it is free. In Saudi Arabia, it's free. You don't have to pay for tuition. That is truly and utterly a Western phenomenon in order to keep poor black people. It's a method of keeping poor black people out of the, whatchamacallit, out of the higher educational system, right? The same thing when they try to prevent you to read. Same thing why they don't fund black schools and black neighborhoods. Same reason why they redline all kind of stuff. And now these chickens are coming home to roost. And boy, is it like delicious. Like, not feeling any sympathy at all. At all. You reap what you sow. The reason why in America you guys pay for healthcare is because of racism. I can't remember who it was, but they wrote that if you prevent Black people from accessing healthcare in about 2 to 3 generations, they would naturally completely die off. Maybe we can do an entire video on that, actually. So don't let these crackers tell you anything, okay? We have zero sympathy for them. Let's keep watching, y'all.
Farmland, they had blown up railroad tracks so you couldn't transport anything. They liberated all the enslaved people. They had burned their houses to the ground, okay? The South was, it was so bad. Northern newspapers were sending down photographers to take photos, to take photographs, and they were going back up north, and the editors and photographers were selling little books to other Northerners, like poverty corn. That's how bad the South was after the Reconstruction era, after the Civil War, or the Reconstruction era. Do you know what white Southerners' primary concern was? Not housing and feeding and clothing their families, not trying to rebuild their economy. No. It was making sure they inflicted massive physical, mental, and economic terror on formerly enslaved people in the South. That was their modus operandi. That was very important to them. More important than rebuilding their economy was harassing Black people. And that's just an example of the centuries white people have spent cutting off their own toes just so we don't have anything. But the gag is, now you don't have anything either. We don't have anything, but neither do you. And that's why we don't have nice things. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Like, what do you mean in other countries they don't have to spend 20% of their paycheck on groceries? What do you mean in other countries everyone can own homes because they're not paying $2,000 a month in rent, or that their mortgages aren't like their entire paycheck? What do you mean that people in China work one job and they don't even work 40 hours and they can easily afford their life? And then I'm over here working 60 hours a week, just me as a single parent, to like barely make ends meet, and I'm penny pinching every single second, and like there's so much of life that my kid misses out on and that I miss out on.
I'm gonna just cut it off right there. Dry up them fucking crocodile tears, Sarah. I don't want to. I don't care. I don't care. You know why I don't care? Because this is white people's fault. This is white people's fault. And now y'all want to boo-hoo and cry because y'all done got on that Chinese app and they done put the Uno reverse card on y'all ass and held up that mirror and told y'all, no, y'all are the brokies. Not us. We not the brokies. It's y'all. And y'all got to face the cold, hard reality that y'all have made this bed and now y'all got to sit in it. No, take accountability. Don't sit here and boo-hoo and cry and get on the TikTok and talk in the internet talking about what are we going to do? What are we going to do? No, what are y'all going to do? Because Black people have been telling y'all for fucking decades. We have been protesting. We have been doing everything for all these fucking decades. And y'all have sat back and reaped the rewards thinking y'all was a part of the club because y'all was white. Y'all thought this shit was about race. No, it's always been about class. And y'all were never a part of the club. Y'all make up 60% of this country's population. There's no we, it's y'all. Every minority could vote or go against something that, or go for something that we know is good for the people. And y'all would turn it down because y'all have the overwhelming majority. So it's no we, it's y'all. Fix y'all shit. I know y'all don't like to take accountability for nothing, but now it's time.
That's
y'all over there boo-hooing crying because y'all seeing the Chinese Walmart and they over there paying $3 for a whole goddamn bag of groceries. Meanwhile, you got to pay $200 and barely fill up your grocery cart. See, all those things you're boo-hooing and crying about, FDR made that happen. But then it all went away in 1967. Why did I say 1967? What does that correlate to? Oh, the Civil Rights Act was passed. Integration happened. And then white people stripped away or or voted against themselves to strip away all public services and entities and all those great things that y'all had prior to integration because y'all didn't want black people to have the shit. So y'all gave all that up in the 1980s when Reagan created trickle-down economics.
Yep.
Because y'all didn't want us to have. He gave us crack and trickle-down economics. And y'all was cool with that.
Yep.
Y'all made a deal with the devil, and now y'all got to accept the consequences of y'all fucking actions. Y'all had affordable housing. Y'all didn't have fucking credit scores. Y'all didn't have you could send your kids to college for the free or for the low. We had advanced and effective public transit and services in this country. But y'all gave all of it away because y'all didn't want niggas to have access. Y'all fought so hard with things like red line and all these different things to hold black people back and keep us from getting a piece of the pie. Whole time they taking y'all pie. And now y'all got to face the music. And y'all don't, now you want to boo-hoo. Y'all let them pass the Patriot Act in the act of protecting us from terrorists. Use that Islamophobia against y'all dumb ass. Y'all let them further push the Patriot Act in 2019 because of that the immigration that y'all was so afraid of, all the immigrants, right? Just taking away all y'all fucking right. Now y'all want to point and what are we gonna do? No, what are y'all gonna do? Because when black people out here marching for police brutality, who they just do things to us and write a fake ass police report and get away with it, nothing happens. You think, or when we did ride when things like Mike Brown, Trayvon Martin happened, and the original Black Lives Matter activists, the original movement that got hijacked. You know what I'm saying? The original activists that was out there on the ground got took out by the police. Oh no, y'all ain't say nothing then. When we telling y'all that they're interfering in our freedoms and our rights, but no, it's black people, so we ain't worried. It's not us, it's them. Well, I shouldn't have to pay for the sins of my fathers. I didn't own any slaves. I'm not racist. Yes, but you're compliant to the system and you're complacent and you're okay with the system that gave you an edge up against us. Go back to R. Kelly or the things that was going on at Nickelodeon or with Harvey Weinstein, all that weird shit, right? There were people still giving up their kids to that, selling making deals, still going up there knowing everything that was going on, putting their children, putting their livelihoods, cameramen, people going to get opportunities and jobs. They did not care so long as it wasn't them. And that was y'all this entire time, still is. Up until now.
Up until now, exactly.
Go back and look at the
And we'll leave it at that, family. And Charles Irby made a comment here, which is the comment of the century right now. Okay. And this comment is so good, I want to frame it. Right? It's so good, we should have it framed. We should actually have a framing contest for this comment, which is, dear white people, stop being victims, put on your bootstraps. We should frame that. We should have a framing contest. If y'all wanna make a contest with this maybe we should put this on a t-shirt. Would you think we should put it on a t-shirt and sell it on the Feachaz? What y'all think? We should make it a t-shirt or maybe a teacup or something like that, and sell it as teacups, as merchandise or something like that. What y'all think? Okay, family. All the keyboard warriors, it seems like they're gone. They ran with their tails between their legs. They don't want the smoke. They only talking like they want the smoke, but they don't really, really want the smoke. We'll take a poll. We'll make a poll on the Feachaz or something like that, right? Should we make this comment into a t-shirt? Right? With the Feachaz logo somewhere. All right. Anyways, family, I want to send a special shout out and thanks to our brother and longtime supporter, Psych for Prez, with a $20 super chat. May Allah reward you and bless and multiply for you a millionfold. Ameen. Everybody say Ameen, Ameen, Ameen in the chat. It is, too bad that the trolls, they I mean, they real brave behind keyboards and stuff, but they really, really, really do not want to smoke like that. They really don't. Right. At least not with us, anyways. Ayatollah Hikikaju and his acolytes and whatnot. Yeah, Hussein. You know, they don't want the smoke. You know, we put out more work on Daniel Hikikaju than anybody else. And guess what? Everybody gave him the smoke now. And we were doing it years ago. So I'm just saying. And with that, we will say, and like, subscribe, share, hit me up on Patreon, family, and free the land, beloved, free the land, free the land, free the land.